Yes, there we go. 1-minute business commercials that don't suck. We're going to go ahead and record this call and be sending it out to all of you who registered so you have the notes and information. So, how many of you have introduced yourself to someone, asked them, hey, what is it that you do? And have them respond with their pitch, their commercial information about who they are and what they do, and you have not a clue as to what it is they do. I think it happens a lot, especially in networking environments when you're out there trying to promote and grow your business. I think the worst scenario here is, has someone asked you what you do, heard your commercial, and felt the same way? Today's webinar is really going to focus on how to communicate an effective message to build, promote, and grow your business. So are you struggling to get the right referrals from your networking? You know, we oftentimes confuse networking and relationship marketing. And if you've tuned into some of the previous webinars, you've probably heard me share with you that maybe you're not communicating the right message when you're networking. You're confusing networking with building an actual relationship. And referrals really come as a result of building relationships. But you can't even get to the point of building the right relationships if you aren't able to effectively communicate who you are and what you do. So if you're struggling to get the right referrals for your business right now, I'm going to encourage you to take a hard look, really evaluate the messaging that you're putting out there to your networking partners and the people that you meet at networking events. It's really the opportunity now to get it right, so to speak. And that's really what this particular webinar is about. It's about communication. Communication is a noun, and there's an actual definition from the Webster's Dictionary that I took to give you the definition of communication. Communication is the act or process of using words, sounds, signs, and behaviors to express or exchange information, or to express your ideas, thoughts, and feelings to someone else. So let me repeat that. Communication is the act or process of using words, sounds, signs, and behaviors to express or exchange information, or to express your ideas, thoughts, and feelings to someone else. I think some key words in here are obviously words themselves, and we'll be talking about how you communicate effectively with words. Sounds, so how is your tone of your voice? How is your communication maybe when you're sending a text or an email? These are all things that can be perceived, okay? So your sounds are as perceived as your words. There's signs to look for in communication, and that could be verbal or nonverbal. Body language has a lot to do with how you communicate. Your behaviors. Are you gritting your teeth or are you truly smiling? There are different ways to express yourself. So those are some key words to think about in terms of your communication and how effectively you are communicating. Effective communication is definitely not a natural skill. Most of us are not born with it. A lot of people would say to me, you know, Kelly, at networking events, you always seem so comfortable. You go out into the room, you're meeting people, you're communicating with them, you're delivering an effective message, you're listening, all these different great ways of communicating. And they may think that it came natural to me. But the God's honest truth is it did not. I am actually a very shy person initially. It took a lot for me to develop my adaptive style of being what looks like a natural communicator and effective networker. And it is something that all of you, if you want to master this skill, need to understand that it is a skill to be developed. It's something that needs to be practiced and honed on a daily basis. And effective communication, let's face it, is not just a part of our business world and promoting and growing our business. Effective communication affects every single relationship we have in our life, whether it be with a spouse, a partner, your best friend, a family member, your kids, and then certainly your business partners, your networking partners, your clients, your people that you need to communicate effectively with is something that is throughout an entire day. And I think every day we see examples of people who are not able to effectively communicate. It might be the person yelling, it might be the person who's frustrated or stressed out, but you can see ineffective communication on a regular basis. So no, if you're going to adopt an effective communication message into your day-to-day networking, promotion, building and growing the business and your relationships for your business, mastering effective communication is critical. Truly successful people are aware that communication is the key to their success, and that communication, when mastered, is the key that unlocks the pathway to achieving your goals and dreams. That's a pretty big statement, right? Truly successful people are aware that communication is the key to their success. Communication, when mastered, is the key that unlocks the pathway to achieving your goals and dreams. So, how do we master this skill? Focus, clarity, and specifics are a very important element to your mastering this skill. Focus, clarity, and specifics are important communication skills in order to master great communication. You want to remember that when you're communicating who you are and what you do and the type of business you are looking to grow by, you want to focus on what you want and share that information effectively. When you have communication done effectively, it can accomplish many things. Number one, it can accomplish successful delivery of your message. So effective communication gives you successful delivery of your message. It creates an increased understanding of your wants, needs, and desires, as well as your products, services, and solutions. I did a success series for Team Referral Network members a few years back called Effective Communication. And I did this with Stacy O'Byrne, who has Pivot Point Leadership Sales Training, NLP training. And she and I were building on this particular presentation together. And one of the things that she talked about is the fact that when we are communicating our messaging out there about who we are, what we do, and how we're growing our business by, that if we don't create the understanding of what our wants, needs, desires, as well as what our products, services, and solutions are, then we're really not delivering the right and most effective message possible. When you can understand people's wants, needs, and desires, and how your products, services, or whatever it is that you do provide the solutions, then you have more feet on the street of people who understand who you are and what you do. So not only do they know and understand how your products, services, and solutions can affect their own wants, needs, and desires, but it also creates, with the right messaging, the information that they need to talk about your business when they meet somebody or know of somebody who needs the products, services, or solutions that you offer. Does that make sense to everybody? I'm hoping so, because what this really is creating is a communication style with your networking partners. Whether you're in a Team Referral Network chapter and networking with your partners on a weekly basis, or you're out there at networking events, or your Chamber of Commerce, or your knowledge network that you belong to, or mastermind that you may be participating in, if you learn to create the right communication, you understand how your products, services, and solutions relates to others' wants, needs, and desires, and you communicate that effectively, you have a whole team of people that are out there and able to bring referrals to you. This definitely makes you more referable, and being more referable definitely equals more sales. So how to be an effective communicator. We're going to talk a little bit about these 6 different steps that I have outlined for you. Number 1, you want to establish rapport. Rapport is an undervalued skill these days, I believe. A lot of people are trying to ram their message down people's throats because they think the bolder they are, the louder they are, the more bombastic, that's going to leave this impression of memorability, and people are going to say, wow, that person is amazing. I'm going to remember who they are and what they do. But the truth be told, people remember you for how you make them feel. And you want to be, and that's called rapport. When you can communicate effectively with somebody on a level that they can relate to, that they understand, that they want to know more, that they feel attracted to or drawn to. That is developing rapport. And it's something that should be the goal when you are communicating with people, which means oftentimes in establishing rapport, when you're trying to communicate an effective message, it may mean that you need to listen more than you need to be speaking, right? So establish rapport is the number 1 way of being an effective communicator. Number 2, having knowledge and understanding of the major processing styles. We all know people are different, very unique in their own way, but if you've ever done any kind of personality testing, perhaps it's DISC, perhaps you've gotten the colored dots, been evaluated and been given a colored dot, either red, yellow, blue, or green. There's many different types of communication styles, but most people fall into certain groups. Knowing and understanding the different types of people's personality styles and then how to communicate effectively to each of those different types of personality styles can be an extraordinary way of being an effective communicator. So your 1-minute business commercial needs to be tailored to your audience and potentially even tailored to the individual personalities that you're meeting. And oftentimes you can kind of tell right off who people are. There's that A type of personality. You meet them at an event, that they are driven, they are kind of bold. They will be the ones that are out there meeting everybody and really working the room. You can tell. And so your style of communicating with them, how you share who you are and what you do, may be very different from the personality type who is a very detail-oriented person who wants to know the facts about your business. They don't want feelings, they want facts. Learning these different styles and understanding people's different way of communicating and understanding is well worth the time. And I have a couple of suggestions for that. There are mastermind groups, like one of our members, SoCal Masterminds, studies that. I mentioned Stacey O'Byrne, and in her NLP classes, they study different personality styles. Maybe you're familiar with DISC, the DISC. Maybe you're familiar with the Gallup's Strength Finders, which helps people identify their top 5 strengths. Any one of those programs can give you more in-depth knowledge about personalities and styles. And once you understand how people process information, you can be an even more effective communicator. Previously I've mentioned about clarity and focus and specificity. I want to add one here too, preparation. So to be an effective communicator, you must have clarity about who you are, what you do, and what you're looking to get in terms of the results from your networking, your 1-minute business commercial, your effective communication. Being highly focused in terms of who you are, what you do, and what you're looking for. If you give people a target to hit, they will do it. If you don't give people a target to hit, they will not. So teaching and communicating focus in your 1-minute business commercial is very important. Preparation. Nothing beats being prepared in your presentations. Yet, On a daily basis, when I'm out networking, I do many events throughout the week as founder of Team Referral Network, as Kelly Holmes, a speaker, as, whatever my opportunities to be out there communicating with people are. I do it constantly, and I gotta say, I constantly see people who are winging it. They've paid to attend an event. They've paid a membership in an organization, and they get a weekly commercial every week to say who they are and what they do. They buy a booth at a marketing event, and yet they don't prepare how they're going to communicate, what they're going to say. There is no substitute for preparation. So whether you belong to an organization that meets once a month, bi-weekly, every single week, you are out there at just a variety of different events, preparing what you want to say for that particular event, for that particular environment, for that particular audience is critical for you to be an effective communicator. And specificity, really learning to hone in on what you want to accomplish. If you have joined us on the other Brown Bag Lunch webinars, we've talked a little bit about being out at events and how to be very focused in terms of what your goals are. Actually, if you're looking to be introduced to Power Partners, one of your most effective 1-minute business commercials can be highlighting a certain power partner that you would like to be introduced to. So let's take the very easy financial advisor. Okay, financial advisors work very well with accountants. They are true power partners for each other. A financial advisor works with an individual or a company's financial goals. They work on their investment portfolio. They may also work with their insurances. They may delve deeply into what their goals are for retirement. Well, how well does that mesh with an accountant? Of course, an accountant is the one who's going to assess how much taxes they're going to be paying, how to maybe eliminate some of that tax obligation, what their structure might be if they're a company, or how they file if they're individuals. An accountant has a lot to do with the financial life of either an individual or a business, and a financial advisor can have a lot to do with an individual or business life in terms of how successful they are with their long-term financial goals. They are perfect power partners. So a financial advisor might spend just one of their 1 minutes effectively communicating about how they are wanting to specifically meet accountants, and they might even say the name of the accounting firm or the city that they're looking to be building that relationship in. They might even be as specific and focused as naming an actual individual. I'm looking to connect with Bob Smith of Bob Smith CPA firm. And the reason I want to meet Bob Smith is, and the financial advisor would then go on to paint a picture of a perfect power partner relationship, how it's reciprocal, how the financial advisor is looking to actively refer business to a great CPA, and he's heard how great Bob Smith is and how he would love an introduction to Bob Smith. That particular 1-minute business commercial right there creates clarity in the message. It focuses the audience in on who or what they can do to effectively help this financial advisor. The financial advisor prepared that 1-minute business commercial in advance. In team, we call the spend 5 minutes on your 1 minute, and they were incredibly specific in that messaging. That creates a 1-minute business commercial that doesn't suck. Clarity, focus, preparation, and specificity. All key tips in being an effective communicator. Next tip is listening more than you are speaking. This is very difficult for A-type personalities and a lot of entrepreneurs. You may recognize yourself in that picture I've just painted. But you've heard it said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. They should be used proportionately. So I want you to really think about listening to your audience, listening to the person that you are looking to build rapport with, listening to your potential networking partner, referral partner, client, listening and then processing, literally taking a few seconds to process the information. I think sometimes that's the misstep, right, in today's society, is people are already thinking about what they're going to say to you before you have even finished speaking with them. And I think we're not giving our audience its fair share of being able to communicate to us what their wants, needs, or desires may be, who their potential power partners that they could introduce you to would be. There's a whole scenario here that if you would just learn the active engagement rather than just talking for talking's sake, you would find that you're able to pick up things from your audience, your listener, your people, that will be very important in how you communicate and the messaging that you're delivering. So 2 ears, 1 mouth, use them proportionately. Being an effective communicator means listening more than you speak. And the last tip here on effective communication is the awareness of verbal and nonverbal signals. So we all do it. It's in our nature. Our body language speaks volumes about what we're communicating. You've seen it with any number of people you've had conversations with. I am the mother of 2 teenage daughters, and I certainly know when I'm communicating with them, whether they are listening to me, they know whether I'm listening to them. The eye roll is a great nonverbal communicator, right? Ever had a teenager do an eye roll at you? That says a lot right there. We know exactly what they're thinking. So really keying in on your own verbal and nonverbal signals when you are giving a 1-minute business commercial, when you are speaking to your audience, when you are doing a presentation is very important. Are you expressive? Do you smile with not only your mouth, but with your eyes? Are you able to engage in your audience in a way that shows you're comfortable? Are you uncomfortable? Do you fold your arms? Do you keep your hands down by your side? You know, these are all different types of signals of body language that send these nonverbal signals to who we're communicating with. So we can plan all we want about what we're going to say. We can write it out. We can have scripts. We can, put together this incredible 1-minute business commercial, an incredible presentation with words. But if we don't match the nonverbal body language and signals with our messaging, it will be incongruent and not authentic. And then the message is not as well received. So awareness of verbal and nonverbal signals, very important. So I'm going to go back over those quick tips right there. Establishing rapport, the knowledge and understanding of major processing styles, how people process your message, having clarity, focus, preparation, and specificity in your messaging, listening more than we speak, and being aware of verbal and nonverbal signals. Those are very important keys to being an effective communicator. And then I want to share with you the 5 essentials to being successful and effective in your communication. We've already talked about the first one, but I'm going to reiterate it a little bit here, and that is listening. Listening is one of the most important aspects of effective communication. Preparation, being clear on what you want to say as opposed to winging it. This ensures clarity, and it gives people an opportunity to action and for you to get the results that you were looking for. Sensory acuity, which is the awareness of the nonverbal communication, yours and theirs. Catering your message towards your audience, making sure that your message, intentions, and expectations are geared towards the audience you are in front of, which means it changes on a regular basis, right? If you're at an event where you have a room full of power partners, your messaging is going to be very different than if you just have a general audience of people. So very important to cater your message towards your audience. And then number 5 is one of my favorite elements of communication, and that is incorporating stories. Incorporating stories into your bottom line, incorporating stories into your messaging. The bottom line is that facts tell and stories sell. People love to hear how you can help them, how you can help the important people in their lives. Your networking partners have people that they are involved with, that there are what I call their important people in their life. It's their family, it's their friends, their business associates, their clients, and their contacts, okay? And whether you realize it or not, people today have a measure of influence over hundreds of people. It might even be thousands now. Certainly, certain people have influence over thousands of people. Social media has completely changed how we define, who we have influence over. I may have 4,000 friends on Facebook, but let's face it, I don't have influence over those 4,000. But there's a significant portion of that 4,000 that I do have influence over. And so when you are able to take a story and weave it into your 1-minute business commercial, your presentation, your communication with people when you're out networking, they can relate to that. And that is why people love hearing the stories about your business. So one of the very important elements of breaking down and having a 1-minute business commercial that doesn't suck is taking actual case studies from your work and sharing, hey, last week, I helped, and then fill in the blanks of what it is that you did. It's important to share that kind of information in the form of a story so that it becomes very relatable. So incorporate stories. And I think we have a little time. Oh, good. We got about 15 minutes left here. I do want to share some tips, additional tips for you about how to create 1-minute commercials that don't suck. So number 1 tip that I want to share with you, and we've alluded to it already just a little bit, is stop winging it. Most people show up at their networking meeting, their referral group, at a function. They may even show up, to potential client presentations unprepared. They're going to wing it. They're good at what they do. They're going to share the information. They are going to say who they are, what they do, and it's going to pretty much be anything that comes off the top of their head, off the tip of their tongue is what they're going to say. And although some of us may be good at winging it, what if, what would it look like if we were able to be prepared, really prepared in our messaging? Being prepared certainly creates the element of credibility, right? And I think we all want to look credible. So when you're winging it, you're probably going to get winging it results. When you're prepared, you have the ability to be credible, and credibility equals referability, which then I believe gains more in terms of results for referrals to grow your business. So stop winging it. I'd also want to say, eliminate, and if you've ever heard me speak, you'll hear me say this over and over again, eliminate the anybody's, everybody's, and somebody's from your commercial. Eliminate the anybody's, everybody's, and somebody's from your commercial because they equal nobody. The brain is unable to process ambiguity. We want to be specific, as we've mentioned before, being prepared, having clarity, focus, specificity. Those are the things that get you the referrals that you're looking to grow your business by. I often use the insurance here in California. Everybody in the state of California is required to have automobile insurance. So if I'm speaking to an audience that's a typical team referral network group, and I know there's going to be a property and casualty insurance person in the room, I have the opportunity to say, California insurance, property and casualty insurance person, doesn't the state of California require everyone to have automobile insurance? And the P&C insurance agent will be, yes, you're right. Everybody is. That's one of those instances you could use in everybody. But I'll say, well, wait a minute. Let's take a look at this picture here. First off, they probably need to own a vehicle. So it goes from everybody needing automobile insurance to those that own an automobile. And then I would turn around and drill it down even further with them and say, wouldn't it be nice if they had some kind of income or method to pay for their premiums? And of course, that gets a chuckle out of the audience. They'll laugh, and the insurance agent will say, yes, it would be nice for them to be able to pay for their premiums. And then I'll drill it down even a little further, and I'll say, well, does your company prefer to write with people who have a better driving record versus somebody who has drunk driving on their records? To which they will laugh at that and say, yes, that they would prefer to have somebody who could have a better driving record. And so very important that you really start seeing how you can qualify the right types of people for your business and get rid of those anybody's, everybody's, and somebody's. So we went from everybody in California needing automobile insurance to the vehicle owner who has the method to be able to pay for their premiums, who has a better driving record. And so the anybody's, everybody's, and somebody's create that ambiguity in our mind. We're not able to process it. It'd be much better if that insurance person turned around and said, I want to speak with families who have new teenage drivers coming on board and getting licensed. There's a lot of different programs available to them that they can qualify for, and depending on their grades and blah, 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 I can get them the best rates possible. So if you have family, friend, or contact with somebody who has new teenage drivers in their family, I'd love to be connected to them. That starts painting a very specific picture in our mind, and we're able to turn around and process, oh, who do I know who has teenage drivers? I use this example, by the way, because I have brand new teenage drivers coming on board in my family as well, and it's painful. So, so using stories just like I did there, but eliminating the anybody's, everybody's, and somebody's because they equal nobody. Eliminate that from your commercial. All right, next tip. Teach your networking partners how to refer your business. Teach your networking partners how to refer your business. Entrepreneurs, people who have their own business or are responsible for generating their own success, are oftentimes very passionate about what they do. It's probably why they started their business or went into their line of work that they are doing. And in our passion, we have a tendency to share about our business and how passionate we are about our business and how, we love what we do. And that's very important messaging to get across. It can help you a great deal. But in your sharing of your passion, if you miss the opportunity to teach them how to refer your business, you're missing out on a huge opportunity. And so when creating 1-minute business commercials that don't suck, okay, and you want to think about the fact that you want to communicate a message that teaches your networking partners how to refer your business. I'm going to use a quick example from Stacey O'Byrne. She talks about, how she's been networking for many, many years, and she was in a networking group that had a auto mechanic in it. And during his presentation one time, the auto mechanic brought in a set of brakes, broke them down, and reassembled them as a demonstration of his business. Now, I don't think there was anybody in that room that didn't think that this guy knew how to do brakes, okay? But here he was, communicating this message of here's how we put brakes together. Okay, that's not teaching your networking partners how to refer you business, because I would think any legit auto mechanic who's part of a networking group would know how to do brakes on cars. Fast forward to a few weeks later, Stacey pulls into his place of business, sees he has this, 16 bays that need to be filled. She notices that one of her clients, Fleet Auto Trucks, is there, and I can't remember what company, we'll call it an air conditioning company. And she went into the auto mechanic, who's her networking partner, and said, hey, I didn't know you had such and such company. as your client. They're one of my clients as well. And he said, oh my God, I don't have them as a client. I don't know why the guy is here. I would love to land them as a client. And to which Stacy said to him, I had no idea you did fleet auto contracts, where they service all, 30 trucks of an air conditioning company. And so in all the time that she'd known this guy, he had never communicated the message that he was actually looking to fill his automobile bays with fleet auto contracts, because that could keep his mechanics constantly busy, land the right contracts and enough companies, and you have your bays filled, which is your goal of growing your business. He wasn't great at communicating an effective message about how he wanted to build and grow his business. So it's very important to understand that teaching your networking partners how to refer you business is vastly different than sharing your passion for the business. It doesn't mean you can't pepper your presentations with your passion, okay? But you'll get far better results, and you'll have 1-minute commercials that don't suck if you teach your networking partners how to refer you business. And that gives me an opportunity right now to share a commercial with you from one of our longtime Team Referral Network members. Many of you may know in the audience Mitzi Ambrosio. She is out there networking in the Inland Empire of California and many points beyond that area in California and across the US and literally across the world. Mitzi has a health and wellness business called LifeWave, and so I'm going to share her 1-minute business commercial with you. And she's been so good at actually putting this together, typing it out, and letting me read it on the webinar today. So Mitzi says, LifeWave is already home to drug-free pain relief within 1 minute. And now we have a patch to activate the body's own stem cells. Research points to stem cells as the future of medicine, but currently is a risky, very expensive, painful procedure. With LifeWave stem cell patch, it's as easy as placing a Band-Aid versus a huge needle. Now, how's that for a visual, right? Right there, she talked about putting a Band-Aid on versus a huge needle. I don't know about you, but I got a great picture in my head about that. A good referral for me this week are your friends and colleagues who prefer to see a chiropractor or a naturopathic doctor before going to their primary physician. So that, again, starts getting focused and very specific right there. It's your friends and colleagues who prefer to see a chiropractor or a naturopath. See, we all have friends in our life, some of them who are very geared towards Western medicine. They follow exactly what their doctors do. They do a prescription regimen. They're great with that. That's how they want to do their healing, okay? They want to get better and get their health results from that style of medicine. But then I think we also know that we all have that set of friends or people that we know who are like, never want to go to a doctor, don't want to take any pharmaceuticals, are always looking for the natural way to be able to heal themselves of whatever ailment they have going on. And so getting very specific and painting that picture there already starts us sorting in our brain who we know who likes to see a chiropractor or a naturopath before they go see their primary care physician. So then she goes on to say, a better referral for me are women over 50 who suffer from knee or back pain and are considering surgery. Wow, Mitzi, did you just describe me? Well, at least the over 50 part and knee and back pain, not considering surgery necessarily. So again, she got very specific. And then she goes on to say, the best referral for me are wellness centers in Southern California and Hawaii who want to be the first to offer to their clients the most effective and affordable stem cell therapy. So then again, very focused and very specific. The best referral are wellness centers in Southern California and Hawaii. What a great connection, right? A lot of Southern Californians go to Hawaii. We spend time over there. We know people over there. Some of us may have lived there at one time and have people that we know. So again, very specific. And then she goes on to say, my name is Mitzi with LifeWave. Have you ever wondered if your pills are actually working? If your pills are actually working, why do you need a refill every month? So great 1-minute business commercial from Mitzi there. I appreciate you sending that in to us, Mitzi. Excellent. So hopefully you saw how that painted a very specific picture about how to create a great 1-minute business commercial that doesn't suck. A couple of other tips that we'll wrap things up with here is be unique. I think one of the most unique 1-minute business experiences that I have ever had was watching an attorney sing his 1-minute business commercial. Brian, in one of our Orange County chapters, was just amazing. And every single week, he would share his commercial by getting up and singing it. So I just thought that was amazing, amazing. We do have a couple of questions here. Let's see. Chandra asked if we could repeat number 3 at some point. I think I did already. And if I didn't, you can shoot an email over. Let's see. On the chats, I'll tell you what, we'll make sure we get back and respond to your questions. I do realize that we're running out of time, and I have one more thing that I want to share with you. And that is for all of you to have a commercial strategy. If you haven't been taking notes to this point yet, I'm going to encourage you to take out some method of taking notes right here and right now, because I think this is kind of the single most important element you can do to build and grow your business through effective messaging, and certainly create 1-minute business commercials that don't suck, okay? Having a commercial strategy. This really needs to be done in a time and a place where you won't be interrupted for a solid hour or maybe 2. Maybe this is something that needs to be done on a weekend where the phone and the emails and the texts and the social media can be removed and not be a distraction. But really taking some time to focus on your business. And in the commercial strategy, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to break your business down into 12 different parts. 12 different parts. And I don't care what type of business you are, you have way more than 12 different parts of your business. But let's just take an example of a financial advisor. Okay, we've been talking a little bit about them today. I'll continue that theme. A financial advisor can do financial planning, number 1. Work with families who have newborn children on creating educational funds is number 2. Life insurance might be number 3. Long-term care might be number 4. Investment retirement would be number 5. But wait, we can break the investment requirement down into mutual funds or stocks and bonds. We could talk about how to analyze the market, when to buy, when to sell. You can talk about the various different vehicles that you have, whether it be a 401k or a, I won't know all the different names, but you see the direction that I'm going here. Everybody has parts and pieces to their business that they can focus on. You could take and do 12 different parts focused on your power partners and just take each one of your significant power partners and break that up into the parts. So you see, it's pretty easy once you spend a few minutes analyzing your business to break it up into 12 parts. Once you have broken your business up into 12 parts, I want you to create a 1-liner, a 10-second commercial, a 30-second commercial, and a 1-minute commercial for each one of those 12 parts. I'll repeat that. A 1-liner. Hey, it's Kelly Holmes, Team Referral Network. We do effective networking through networking groups, okay? Just a quick 1-liner, okay? Something that you could shout out if all you had the opportunity to do at that networking event was to stand up and say, hey, here I am. This is who I am and this is what I do, in a 1-liner. Then you want to create a 10-second, which expands on the 1-liner. Maybe you're at the type of networking event where you get to stand up and very briefly introduce yourself. It's more than a 1-liner, but it's less than a 30-second or a 1 minute. Okay, so there's the 1-liner, there's the 10-second. Then I want you to create a 30-second commercial, very effective commercial about each one of those 12 parts. Okay, the 30-second commercial is a pretty common opportunity in the world of networking events to be able to introduce yourself. So you may be at a Chamber of Commerce breakfast. I have some people that are going to the Corona breakfast this week, they're going to have a chance to stand up and give a 30-second introduction, okay? Really learning to effectively communicate on one of the parts of your business, okay, for 30 seconds can be key to being memorable and viewed as credible, which equals referable, remember, okay, during your networking event. So a 30-second is a very critical element. And then, of course, in Team Referral Network, we do the 1-minute business commercial. Every single week, you have a chance to be the rock star who stands up and delivers an excellent 1-minute business commercial. 1-minute business commercial that doesn't suck. So of each of those 12 parts, you're going to create a rock star 1-minute commercial. And then you are going to be hyper prepared for your weekly networking meeting. You are going to look credible. People are going to look up to you. You're going to win that 1-minute trophy that we do at Team Referral Network chapter meetings to highlight great 1-minute business commercials. And then the really great thing about breaking your business down into the 1-liner, 10-second, 30-second, and 1 minute in those 12 different parts is then when you get asked to be a speaker, whether it be speaking at your networking group or you get to speak at your Chamber of Commerce or at your Rotary Club, and you get to, well, Rotary don't share about your business, but your other types of networking, okay, you can piece together 2, 3, 4, 5 of those 1-minute commercials, expand on each of them during your 10-minute team presentation or your 20-minute speaking opportunity, and you expand on each one of those, and you then look like a rock star as a presenter. So the commercial strategy, if you take nothing else away from today's webinar, is something to be put in place, but you need to carve out the time to do it. You need to put the effort into creating the right messaging. And when you create the right messaging and are prepared and have focus and clarity, you have created an effective communication style that people will be drawn to and want to refer you business. And it looks like we've run out of time today. I thank you for being part of the Brown Bag Lunch and Learn webinar series for this month. We will be doing it again next month, the third Wednesday, the 19th of September. We will send the information out to you. For those of you that registered today, of course, we send the recording out to you on each one of these webinars. So we hope that you will listen again to it and pick up more nuggets. A couple of other things, quick reminder. We wanted to say that we have the big event on October